So, here we are at the Resource Waste Management Show here in Birmingham at the NEC. I'm Alison at Firechief. We are on our latest stand, which Quadrant have helped us to build very successfully yet again. We're a fire company. We have about 2,000 fire products, so that ranges from all sorts of things: alarms, fire blankets, fire extinguishers, all sorts of things. However, what a lot of our stands focus on is the lithium-ion battery risk, fire risk. So we do a lot of work on that, and that's what you see here today on the waste show. We know there are a lot of lithium-ion battery fires happening in the waste industry, so therefore we focus on that because we know that that's a problem for them right now.
Let me introduce you to our new vape bin. This is the prototype, but we're hoping to get this developed. What you do, this is made of steel. Put your vape in there. The vape will then travel through into a UL approved waste container where the vape will be stored safely. However, if there was a battery fire or a vape fire, we have a trapdoor underneath here with a fuse that will burn at 65 degrees C. The trapdoor will open and out will pour the Pyroflow granules into the UL approved bin to smother, contain and put out that vape bin fire or even the battery fire. All contained. We're hoping to roll these out, even rent these out to festivals, organisations, councils. Great idea.
It depends on the audience that we're talking to. So obviously here we're talking to the waste show and the wasting sector. So it's the same products, but we've flexed the message so that we are attracting the right people and what they're interested in. So for example today, the large graphic is of a waste lorry over there. And that's because we know that people at the show will resonate with that. Whereas at the fire show, we would focus probably more on some firefighting type images. We still tend to focus a little more on lithium-ion batteries because it's a very topical thing, but obviously other parts of the products come into play as well, so we widen that out a little bit. We've reconfigured quite a lot of the areas, which is a major plus of working with Quadrant, but we also have some new panels behind me as well, which are fitted in beautifully into the setup. That's what, a major piece of why we like working with Quadrant is the fact that we've got that reusability. To actually then, recreate that every single time without the reconfigurability would have cost us far more, absolutely. So that was, again, very much part of why we wanted to work with you, so that we knew we could do that and you store our graphics for us and we can get them back out again if we want them, or sometimes we tweak them, but that's really important to us.
We brought with us a poster. It has been now a few shows, a few events, a few different stands. First of all, do you have favorite stands so far?
I like all of them, but I think, the favourite one probably was the one that we did at the fire safety event earlier this year in April. That was our biggest stand to date, and it had lots of different elements on it. So I think the very first stand we did, the fascia over there actually wasn't as high as that. And looking around at everybody else's stand, now actually we need something that's higher. And then the next evolution of that was, of course, the revolving cube with the Firechief F on. Because again, that's something that you can say to people, look out for that, and they can see it from some way away. So I think having that, that height visibility as well as what's actually down on the ground is really important. Okay, so the process is, we're going to a show, think about the audience. What products do we want to put on the stand? What does that mean for the graphics? Does that mean we can use something we've already got? Or does it mean, like here behind me, it's a new product, therefore we might need some new graphics? And then how many panels have we got? What's the best way of displaying that? So that's the process. And then obviously talk to Quadrant and talk about what we can reuse, what we might need to create new. And then working with the graphic designer and our graphic designer together to get that sort of final design completed. I think the one thing that I really learned was I wanted the structure to go higher. I mean, I can always tell if it's good or not, because as soon as the managing director and the sales and marketing director come down, if they go, "Stan looks great," I know, right, I've nailed it, it's fine. We always like that top fascia there because that's got the Firechief logo on with some backlit behind it as well. So that's always a favourite. What we don't have this time is the revolving cube, because we decided when I was talking to your project manager that was probably going to be a bit overkill on this space. But that will see a return when we get to fire safety event next year, because we've got a bigger, even bigger stand there. I think it's 36 square metres or something. Before we started working with Quadrant, we used shell steams quite a lot, but there was always a risk, and it's happened to me a number of times, where you get onto site and your graphics aren't actually up yet, therefore the television can't go up yet, the lights can't yet, and everything just slows right down and you can't get anything done. So to arrive and go, yep, it's all there, all I've got to do is lay the products out, is brilliant for me. Yesterday when I arrived at 2 o'clock, the stand was built, it looked fantastic, it was just being finished off, and I literally walked in, went, yeah, that's fantastic, signed everything off, done. And that's the beauty of this, is I don't have to come thinking, well, how am I going to find any graphics? You know, is everything going to be working? It was all beautifully done. And obviously, when we started, we had one project manager, and then I had Catherine, I think it was, for the next 2 stands, and I got to know her quite well. This time, obviously, we've had another project manager, but to be fair, that hasn't made a difference. So the service is still as good, and everything is exactly right. So next year's plan will be more events, I think, even more.